Why don't we now talk about this shit? What do you got here? A pissed Trump calls Jeff Bezos after learning Amazon considered breaking out a tariff charge. Huh. So what, Amazon is considering, like, doing charges for tariffs, right? Like, because, like, the tariffs affect Amazon, like, the most, broadly speaking, right? They are very heavily affected by tariffs because, well, they import everything in for, they have, like, a bunch of sellers who manufacture in China, import that shit in so they can sell it in the US, right? Like, what we got here? The White House took aggressive aim at Amazon, with President Trump putting in a call to Amazon founder Jeff Bezos Tuesday morning after the company considered displaying the added cost of tariffs on certain items. Oh, okay. So they want to fucking because, like, I've said this before, like, now we're actually starting to see the effects of the tariffs, and the second article that we're gonna look at is, like, making it pretty threadbare, like, pretty, like, laid out there, and just like, oh yeah, all those, like, fucking dipshits who constantly, like, have been, like, crawling into the fucking comment section, talk about, like, no, the tariffs are being used to weaken China. No, the fuck they're not. That's stupid. You're coping. Like, shut the fuck up. You people are dumb and stupid. Trump called Bezos to complain about reports that Amazon was considering displaying the cost of U.S. tariffs next to prices for certain products on the company's website. Two senior White House officials told CNN. Trump later said, "It was a good call. Very good. Jeff Bezos was very nice. He was terrific," Trump told reporters on Tuesday. "He solved the problem very quickly. Good guy." So, literally, Trump got on the phone, just be like, can you not show, like, how fucking terrible my tariff policy is? Because we all know the meme, right? Like, if you see the cost of, like, a particular item and see +0 on shipping, you're just like, yeah, I want to buy that item. But, like, the same, like, price, like, say it's, like, $49.99 plus $0 shipping. But if you see the $39.99 plus $10 shipping, no one will do, like, take the option with the plus $10 shipping, even though, like, it adds up to being the same price in the end. People don't want to fucking pay the shipping costs all the time because, like, that gets, like, applied to, like, different taxes and shit. It's all just fucking bullshit. Trump should go on Real Housewives. He's desperate for drama and attention. Nah. He's getting all the attention he could ever possibly want. Like, he wants a press conference, he can have a press conference, for example. But he's not in it to win it, honestly. Like, he doesn't care anymore. He's tired. He's just, hey, I'm too tired for this shit. Someone else do it. Like, the only thing he's, like, really taking on, like, head on is this tariff stuff. And I think he, broadly speaking, he understands how bad of a fucking policy it is if, like, he's calling Jeff Bezos to not display fucking prices of the imports on shipping because of the tariffs. Or, like, something like plus whatever for shipping, plus this from Trump's, well, tariffs. Because the tariffs are an import tax overall. And like I said before, like I've been constantly saying, these tariffs are not accomplishing anything. They're not going to bring back U.S. manufacturing. Like, no. That's never going to fucking happen. It's not. There's an attempt there. But like I said with the main example that I have had before, with the CHIPS Act, you do tariffs in tandem with industrial policy. That's what's going to bring back manufacturing to the U.S. Because guess what? Why did manufacturing even get outsourced to places like China and other places in Southeast Asia to begin with? Because it's cheap. They have a cheaper labor pool. You build the factory there instead, and you can just import it back, and it's cheaper to do that. That's why they did it. Whoa, crazy. And also, like, there was transitions in the U.S. economy that instead of, like, being, like, an export economy, which is what Trump is hearkening back to and wants to return to, which is, like, it's silly, it's stupid. Like, they decided to become a service/tech economy as a result, and, like, become more highly educated as, like, a result. Now, they didn't do the transition well, obviously, given, like, how bad the fucking economy is now for your average sort of, like, individuals. That's a whole different story, obviously. But broadly speaking, it's not a bad thing that the economy has transitioned to that as a result of it being so rich as a result of, like, World War II and the Cold War and stuff. The U.S. being the main sort of, like, winners of those conflicts. And as a result, becoming very, very rich and being able to just afford to be like, and we can just like pay to import like whatever, it doesn't matter, YOLO, right? Which is why they transitioned to the type of economy, and there was consequences to that, obviously. Like good paying union jobs got fucking hollowed out. I mean, obviously the deregulations of unions, stagnation of wages, there's a lot of other factors that have played into this. We, broadly speaking, we understand why, but like saying just like forehead tariffs are going to fix everything is just silly. That's not how that works. And he wants to use it to replace income taxes. And I think like the estimated amounts have come out recently. Like the tariffs are slated to make about $63 billion a year, and income tax makes about $2.2 trillion. 350 times like the disparity there, Trump. Like, where are you going to make that up? And we all know who's going to be the main people who pay for the tariffs. It's going to be poorer people, because the companies, like I said before, they're the ones who are going to raise the prices to make up for, well, the losses in profit for having to import in a bunch of different materials in order to be able to produce products. But like for Trump supporters, they don't get it. Like, it's insane. Punchbowl News first reported that Amazon will soon display how much an item's cost is derived from tariffs, right next to the product's total listed price. The move could directly illustrate to American consumers how Trump's tariffs are affecting the cost of goods. Trump has slapped 145% tariffs on imports from China and a 10% minimum tax on all other countries. The call came shortly after one of the senior officials phoned the president to inform him of the story. Of course, he was pissed. Granted, on anybody to speak candidly, told CNN, why should a multi-billion-dollar pass-off cost the consumers? I mean, this is just fucking emblematic for just how much the sort of like sycophants are they're just not going to do anything. Like, what do you mean, why should a multi-billion-dollar company pass off costs to consumers? They were always going to do that. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course they were going to fucking do that. Are you stupid? They're the ones who control the means of production. They're the ones who have the levers and distribution of goods and services. Of course, they were going to make sure they're not going to be able to miss out on profits, so they're going to raise raise prices on the consumers, because the fucking tariff strategy is stupid. It's not going to work, and it's going to have an affordability crisis in the U.S. I mean, there's already an affordability crisis in the U.S. It's going to be made worse because of these tariffs. It was never going to work. Period. End of story. At a briefing Tuesday, the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt called the move a hostile and political act. Okay, man. Adding that she had spoken about the matter with President Trump earlier. Commerce Secretary Harold Lutnick, or Nutlick, echoed Leavitt's comments, saying it's a hostile act if a company goes out of its way to make it seem like tariffs have caused prices to change. But that's literally what they do. What are you fucking talking about? That's what tariffs do? They cause prices to change unless you have the basis for American manufacturing already established. And we already know that that's just not the case in America. We've already established that that's no longer the case. America's not a manufacturing, export economy anymore. It's just silly. Like, we've already talked about, if you do the tariffs in tandem with, like I said earlier, industrial policy, which they didn't do. There's no industrial policy. They just did the forehead tariffs. That's it. Whoa, prices as a result are going to go up because of that? Imagine my shock. It's nonsense, he said Tuesday in a CNBC interview. A 10% tariff is not going to change virtually any price. He added, referring to the nearly universal baseline tariff on all countries, the price will change. The only price will change would be a product that we don't make here, like a mango. The 10% tariff, however, is hardly the only one in effect. Damn, I didn't know that America has such a vast swath of differing sort of agricultural sort of basis in terms of their economy. That, man, they must produce so many different agricultural goods and other baseline goods that are needed for a fucking manufacturing export economy to be fucking successful. It's just, it's stupid, man. I love how he literally speaks out of both sides of his fucking mouth. Like, hey, guys, hey, America, I guess you guys don't want to eat mangoes anymore? You don't like mango juice or something? And then you have, like, stupid conservatives be like, yeah, I'm willing to make this sacrifice. And, dude, like, fucking these motherfuckers will accuse, like, lefties of being, like, the main people who do, like, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab fucking posting. And, like, these are the dumbasses that do, like, oh yeah, I'm willing to sacrifice eating like particular products just to make sure the tariffs go in and President Donald fucking Trump is successful. It's fucking stupid. These are the people who are gonna make you live in the pod and eat the bugs, not the left. What are you fucking talking about? Yeah, fucking New World Order. You will own nothing, and everything you will make, and you will be poorer. We all know the stupid schizo song. An Amazon spokesperson said in a statement to CNN that the move was never a consideration for the main Amazon site, and nothing has been implemented on any Amazon properties. Amazon, however, said it was considering the idea of listing import charges on certain products. On Haul, its spin-off website that sells items below 20%, but the change wasn't rolled out. Oh, so it wasn't even on the main website. They're going to do it on a different, like, probably drop shipping website. That's so fucking funny, dude. This was never approved and was not going to happen, an Amazon spokesperson said. Oh, so they ended up just fucking lying. Ridiculous. However, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer encouraged businesses to do just that. Huh. I agree with Chuck Schumer in this strategy. This is actually not a bad idea. From good old Chucky boy here. That's actually a good idea. I never would have thought I'd be giving credit to fucking Chuck Schumer. Good on ya. Yeah, I think companies should do that. Are they going to? Probably not. But it's not a bad idea. I don't think it's ridiculous. To the large businesses that sell to consumers, I say show your customers how much tariffs are hurting in their pocketbook. People deserve to know the impact tariffs have on their finances. I agree. They probably should know. Because it seems like a lot of people don't fucking know for whatever idiotic reasons. Death cult. That's the reason. I'm saying this purely fucking rhetorically. It's because Donald Trump and Republicans are in a death cult. Because this is a fucking sort of Republican mentality. Like, they're the actual, like, stupid, dumb fuck, Klaus Schwab, WEF, conspiracy posters saying that, oh, yeah, I'm willing to not have certain products. Yeah, because I want the tariffs to bring back American manufacturing. When that's not what they're going to do at all. It's, silly. Schumer said in remarks delivered on the Senate floor. Other e-commerce websites like Shein and Temu, which are, I believe, basically like Chinese, like drop shipping websites. You can get like cheap products there. Have said they implemented changes to their pricing due to the cost of tariffs. Temu has even introduced a new import charge that is displayed at checkout. Both companies source most of their products from China. Lebanon Tuesday also cited a Reuters report from 2021 about an alleged partnership between Amazon and a Chinese propaganda arm, Sherman, that censored user reviews on its Chinese website for President Xi Jinping's writings and speeches. She said that was another reason why Americans should buy American, adding that it's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chains and boost our own manufacturing here. Aren't there, like, literally fucking ships that are, like, leaving the Chinese ports as a result, like, completely empty of, like, cargo and shit like that? And a bunch of companies are begging for tariff exemptions because they're running out of supplies on the fucking shelves of their stores. I know Home Depot did that. I don't know if Walmart did that. I think there's, like, some other grocers that did that. I think maybe Target did. But there's, like, a bunch of grocers that are saying, like, dude, like, can you please, like, not do this? Give us, like, some sort of exemption. Because there's, like, a bunch of other stuff, like, America does produce. Like, like, a lot of meat products and stuff like that. And, like, corn-based products. And, like, some soybean-based products, I believe, as well. But, like, A lot of fruits, those aren't grown in America. Some fruits are, but a lot of that is not grown in America. There's a lot of shit that gets grown in Mexico that's imported by the US, and those are affected by tariffs. And guess what? A lot of other businesses are having troubles keeping up with these tariffs because they have to pay so much money. And people are not going to shop there because they're forced to have to raise prices. It's so blatantly obvious, but people just don't want to get it. It's just silly. Bezos has actively worked to cultivate a relationship with the president in his second term, congratulating him on his November election and dining at the White House. Donate $1 million to his inaugural fund. It makes a documentary focusing we all know, he's doing this because, he knows that Trump is probably going to be an avenue for making more money for him. We know this, right? Trump has recently praised Bezos, telling The Atlantic in an interview, he's 100%, he's been great. He's 100%, he's great. Bezos' net worth declined by $30 billion since the start of this year. Oof! According to the Billionaire Index, partly as a result of Trump's tariff policies and a decline in the stock market. Whoa, who would have thought that the main dude, his whole thing is about importing a bunch of products, would see a decrease in his company's net worth as a result. Crazy. But yeah, Temu customers in the U.S. hit with steep import charges due to tariffs, just as the CNN article mentioned earlier. Some shoppers have seen new surcharges, double the cost, while it's typically ultra cheap online products. Obviously, I don't like fucking Temu, but this is what the tariffs are mostly going after. Maybe it's a good thing that a lot of slot products from China aren't going to be imported in as much. But again, like I said before, the prices, if you are forced to have to produce American and are only focused in American, the prices for those products would go up anyways because you have to pay more for American labor. American unionized labor is going to be of higher quality and is going to be more expensive as a result of that because you have to pay more money for those workers. So naturally, as a result, the price of a product is going to raise as a result for that. So the tariffs we're going to raise the prices anyways through fairly obvious means because not as many people are going to want to purchase products as a result to have to not pay for the fucking tariffs, which is what that's what it's supposed to incentivize. Well, then you're just going to have a critically short supply of a lot of products in the interim because again, America doesn't currently have a lot of the manufacturing capacity in order to fill in those sort of gaps. They don't. Simply put, that's cope by every fucking stupid Republican. Complete utter cope. They don't have it right now, and it takes time to establish those. But they just decided to be well, we're just gonna do the tariffs and that's it, and then it's gonna work out somehow anyways. It's silly, it's ridiculous. But what do we got here? Known for its ultra low prices hitting U.S. customers without the import charges due to the trade war. Tariffs imposed by the administration have in some cases doubled the prices of items. Crazy. A 3-pack men's of athletic shorts advertised as on sale for $23.61 with free shipping came out to $56.36 after the fucking import charge of $32.75. A notice on Temu's checkout page says that items imported into the U.S. may be subject to import charges. And this right here is the direct byproducts and consequences. Crazy. Who would have thought that this would fucking happen because of just a really stupid, reckless policy? These charges cover all customs-related processes and costs because that's how the import tax works. It's all customs-related. And it all gets processed, and the costs go on as, extra fucking fees. And, to compensate for lost profits, because they have to, the company is the one who fucking pays for that shit, they're going to offload it onto the consumer. Because of course they were going to do that. It's not political or whatever. It's business. It's capitalism. The profit motive. That's what they were always going to do. But, it's all political, obviously. They're just doing this to attack Trump. Yeah, totally. Including import fees paid to customs authorities on your behalf. The amount listed may not represent the actual amount paid to customs authorities, the notice said. Some items that are shipped from the U.S., yet still manufactured in China, showed a much higher price tag than those made and shipped abroad. One domestically shipped blender retailed for $34.19 and had no import fees. Right, because it was domestically shipped, NBC News found. A similar blender manufactured and shipped from China cost only, $5.94, but it came with an added $8.18 in import charges for U.S. customers, more than the price of the item itself. So remember when I said before that, the tariffs are not going to really fix the problem anyways, because guess what? If we're talking about domestically manufactured U.S. products, they're going to probably be more expensive anyways than the stuff that gets imported in from fucking China. Why? Because American labor is more highly valued. Also, we have to talk about the supply of American labor as well. How many Americans are going to be willing to work in these manufacturing jobs? I mean, that's a whole other question. I don't think it's going to be as many as people think for whatever reason. But tomato, potato, that shit doesn't matter. Who cares? Whatever. It's still less expensive to get this fucking blender from China than it is from a domestically shipped blender. Because, American labor is generally more expensive. Now, this is a good thing because it could be good paid union jobs, but you as a consumer are still going to have to pay way more for particular items as a consequence. Now, obviously, I haven't really said that this is a sort of good or a bad thing, right? It's mostly why I'm saying that these tariffs are not going to work out how you think they are in producing cheaper manufactured goods domestically. You're going to be forced to pay more anyways for something that is domestically made in the US because US labor simply just costs more. And corporations are gonna corporation. They're gonna offload that cost on the consumer every fucking time. Which is why it's just stupid to do these tariffs. It's not gonna work. Period. In many cases, Temu items that are shipped from domestic warehouses are now labeled local, with many appearing at the top of the search page for US users. Temu didn't independently respond to requests for comment. Bloomberg earlier reported on Temu price hikes. Trump has initiated an ongoing face-off between the world's two largest economies, importing the tariff itself. China hit back with its own tariff, obviously. On Monday, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told CNBC that it would be up to Beijing to de-escalate trade tensions. Why would it be up to the Chinese? Think about it for literally 3 seconds. Why? You are the one who started these tensions. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Why should it be up to the Chinese to de-escalate anything? They don't have to do anything here. They're already compensating for the fact that, your belligerence is the main stuff that's fucking causing this. So they're just going to be okay, then we'll just make deals with other people. Because the tariffs, what they did, they unified the entirety of the world against the U.S. That's what it functionally did. And because everyone got pissed that they just had tariffs randomly levied on them because Mad King's got a Mad King for whatever reason, and the Republicans are all just going along with the fucking lunacy because to be honest, for them it's all about maintaining their own power, and they don't give a shit. They're not going to go against what Donald Trump says because they're fucking cowards. And for them, it's all about maintenance of hierarchy and control. So it's just fuck it. We'll just, make sure that we lick the boots of the other guy. So fuck it. It's all like I said before, this is all in lockstep with what the fucking Republicans have always wanted as a party. So this shouldn't be really surprising at all. Why should the Chinese have to do this? They can just be okay, we don't import that much from the U.S. They said, it's about 15% of their economy imports are from the US, it's like, okay, we can just like find stopgaps. That's not that big of a deal. Like they already made a deal with Australia for beef. Whoa, pretty big chunk of some of the stuff that they imported from the US taken care of. Done. Barclays analysts wrote in a note to clients Monday that the dueling tariffs are so steep that they amount to a trade embargo on both sides. While some goods are currently being rerouted to non-China ports to gain access to the American market, a large volume of goods will likely just not find their way through. Like I said before, whoa, this is also causing problems for fucking shipping and supply chains. This is the actual effect. A lot of American companies, guess what? They're going to start having a lot of empty shelves because of these just complete belligerent, idiotic tariffs. Because of the supply chain like disruptions and shocks. U.S. Temu shoppers, meanwhile, have voiced frustration on social media. One Twitter user shared a photo of an online Temu shopping cart where they were charged just under $90 in import fees on an order of $64 worth of merchandise, and others showed import charges of $135 on $86 of merchandise. Temu needs to put a Trump did this sticker next to the new import charges line at the checkout. That would be really, really funny if they did that. It does not appear that the mega Chinese online retails like TikTok Shop have been affected by the import fees. Looks like they got an exemption. Both Shein and Temu had issued notice to customers on their website saying price adjustments would start April 25th due to recent changes in global trade rules and tariffs that have raised operating expenses. Whoa! They have to raise their prices as a result. Who would have thought that this obvious thing would have fucking happened? Crazy. It sure is a shocker, isn't it, everyone? That the most obvious thing that was gonna happen was gonna happen. And like I said before, like, it's fine to bring back manufacturing to the domestic market. That's not the fucking problem that I have. The problem with this is, like, he did the tariffs without doing any of the other necessary policy to make the strategy work. So he's just like, I'm just gonna do the tariffs and it's just gonna work out. Whoa, it didn't fucking work out. It failed miserably, and it just made the affordability crisis that the US has worse. What a shocker. No way that the obvious thing that would have happened. Like what else are you really supposed to say about this, to be honest? And also, like, even if all that manufacturing, the domestic manufacturing would have happened, guess what? Because American labor is generally speaking more expensive. Also, I don't even know if there's enough of a labor pool in order to be able to have this amount of manufacturing that Trump thinks is magically going to come back. And C, are the factories even in place? Do these factories exist in order to be able to just create all these products? These are things that take time and years in order to be able to, well, be established. This isn't like fucking Factorio where I can just have an assembly machine making other fucking machines. I can just grab them from a chest and then plop, 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 plop. That's not how that works. You can't do that. And just like build an instantaneous like circuit factory to pump out a bunch of green circuits for you. No, that's not how that works, okay? These are things that have to take time. You need to find like places to put the fucking factories, and that's going to be a whole like fucking potential legal dispute, or something that has to be delineated with a bunch of like local officials within like certain municipalities or whatever, because you have to find the land to build the factories, and you need to make sure it's all up to code and it's all part of like, you know, up to snuff in terms of regulations, whether it be like environmental regulations, building code regulations, and other stuff. These things take time, is what I'm saying. Time that the US does not have. Which is why just doing the blanket tariffs is fucking stupid. It's just dumb. It's going to be inflationary. And as a result, whoa, consumer confidence says, even at the top here, it's gone down as a result. Crazy. And whoa, all these like consistent shocks and sort of like turbulences within the economy make it such that like people think that there's going to be a fucking recession as a result. Now we have to keep waiting for a recession to start. That is a thing where it's just you're just going to have to wait and see. That's going to play out over a couple of months, but we're already seeing the effects of the tariffs right here and right now. All the like old man yaoi that fucking Trump wants to have with like Xi Jinping to like call him. Whoa, it turns out it's not fucking working, because why the fuck would he want to call you? You know, of all the fucking deals that he thinks that he's trying to make, he's got about 200 deals or something. Where did he pull that out of his ass? Who the fuck knows where that's from, but okay, sure. No one's making any deals, and most people are just like dealing with like retaliatory tariffs, and US fucking companies themselves are trying to be like, all right, how can we like get around all this fucking bullshit, because we really don't want to fucking deal with it. Crazy. Who would have thought? But it's okay. Like, you'll still have like dipshits gargle like Trump's balls anyway, saying like, yeah, this is really effective economic policy being done here by the president. It's like, no, the fuck it's not. Cope and seethe. I don't know. Keep gargling his balls. It's not gonna fucking work. And just like we just saw earlier, whoa, it's not working, and it's just been stupid and fucking ridiculous. Like, there really isn't much more to say about this besides that, like, whoa, it's playing out exactly like I have said before. It's been inflationary. People are not going to be able to purchase products. The necessary infrastructure and everything that is needed is just not there. Where are you going to get the labor pool for this? What, are you going to get a bunch of immigrants to do it? You're going to ship in a bunch of immigrants to do the labor? Because not every American's going to want to do this. Fuck no. Really? You think that? Ha! Yeah, right. There's no fucking way that that's going to happen. Yeah, like a fucking American's going to definitely want to be in front of a blast furnace for 8 hours a fucking day making steel, Trump. Totally. Because he unironically does believe that. That's how, like, lowly he thinks of, like, Americans, for fuck's sake. Like, he just thinks, like, oh, you're just gonna do all the, like, stupid labor, easy labor for us billionaires. That's just how it is, folks. But, you know, his dipshit supporters, they're not gonna fucking understand that shit. So, guess what? Whoa, as a result, we have this dumbass shit that's fucking happening. Well, crazy. And honestly, I think more companies should just say, like, here's, like, the import taxes that are being put on to you because of your fucking president. Personally, I think way more stuff like this should be done. I'll be quite honest. And I'd be like, you know, I don't blame them. It makes sense. They're just dealing with a bunch of bullshit for no reason. It's ridiculous. It's crazy defending the fucking corporations because of, you know, idiotic belligerence of Trump, because he has like some fixation in his head with the 1880s where apparently America was at its richest. No, it's just not true, but whatever. It's silly. It's silly. And we all know why he actually wants to do the tariffs. He wants to try to use it as a replacement for fucking, what? Income taxes. That's why. But I've already just displayed that. The estimated amount that these tariffs are going to make are about $63 billion a year. That's an estimate. I know Howard Lutnick said this again. They're going to make $600 billion a year. That still is not enough to compensate for the amount that income tax makes. And for this year, it is estimated to be about $2.2 trillion. Where are you going to make up the rest? You're not accounting for about $1.6 trillion, bud. It's just silly. It's ridiculous. It's not going to work, and it's just going to cause inflation and cause the economy to crash. One of the things that Trump pretends that he's good on. But, you know, whatever. Like, long reign, Xi Jinping, Topshi, caused the collapse of America because of their idiotic, stupid belligerence. Because, you know, whatever, man. They're just gonna do like stupid, idiotic shit because, you know, they have a dumb fuck idiot president in power who's just like, we're just gonna do the tariffs and nothing else because, you know, I'm heckin' based and super pog-pilled and epic. And it's totally gonna work. It's just goofy. It's ridiculous. It's silly. It's not gonna work out. And, you know, Trump supporters can cope and seethe about it. They have no idea what these tariffs do, how they work. And I don't know. You people are just complete buffoons that you fell for this yet again. Fell for it again award, as always.